I even went all the way to Elkhart. Then I thought,
Yeah, it's too far.
why?
Yeah.
I live in South Bend,
Right.
and I'm going to have a gym in Elkhart.
Right.
So that all fell through. So I came back home, and this grocery store was here.
Maternowski's, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Modernowski's.
Okay.
And
you knew of the grocery store because you grew up here.
Because I came here. I was in this store.
That's wild.
And his wife and him, they knew me from the neighborhood.
Yeah. You heard that there. That's Tom Lynch, the owner of Lynch's Gym, that's been located right on the corner of Walnut and Dunham and the west side of South Bend for over 4 decades. More of that later, but first, thank you for listening to another episode of Round the Bend Now and Then. My name is Matt Emery, and I'm a local history nerd. My main mission in this podcast, as well as other Round the Bend material, is to create engaging content that shares how intertwined the South Bend and Mishawaka area's past is to our present. In the podcast, I interview local leaders, business owners, and community members to help tell their stories, because their stories help tell the story of South Bend and Mishawaka. Before we get into the interview, I just have a few announcements and favors. Announcement: all of our previous audio episodes are now uploaded to YouTube, and as each one is released, they'll also be available on YouTube as well. In addition to the audio episodes, I'll continue to create visual content as well. I currently have 3 different video episodes, each with historical pictures, maps, dynamic narration by yours truly, and even on the scene videos and reporting, also by yours truly. Be sure to go to our YouTube channel at Round the Bend Now and Then, subscribe, and check out the content. A few favors: as always, please be sure to hit the download, like, or subscribe button on whatever podcast app that you listen to us on. Follow us on social media at Round the Bend Pod or at Round the Bend 574 on Twitter, Round the Bend Now and Then on Facebook, and all of our links are in the show notes as well. My last favor is to please pass on the good word about the content. Now, here is the introduction setting up another interview that helps tell the story of South Bend and Mishawaka. In doing this podcast and the multiple social media posts about South Bend and Mishawaka's history, I really wanted to go beyond the usual Studebaker and Oliver content and tell the stories of some of our area's people, their businesses and experiences. Because as I say in the intro, their stories help tell the story of South Bend and Mishawaka. A while back, Derek Dieter, a fellow local history nerd, reached out to me and suggested that I highlight a place called Lynch's Gym and its owner, Tom Lynch. Now, I had never heard of Tom or Lynch's Gym, but as it turns out, it's been located at the corner of Walnut and Dunham on the west side of South Bend for over 43 years. And Tom has lived close by in the neighborhood for most of his 80-plus years, earning him the nickname the Mayor of Walnut St. And in his 80-plus years, that dude has amassed quite the collection of stories, from his days at the original Washington High School on Sample Street, to the Marine Corps, to his time in competitive bodybuilding, and even his 13 years as a professional wrestler. But even with all of his experiences and the stories that he can tell, one thing is for sure: many, many, many people look up to Tom and consider him a friend, a mentor, and a father figure. And he pretty much has amassed all of this while running a gym in the neighborhood he grew up in a nondescript building on the corner of Walnut and Dunham. I interviewed Tom right in his gym, and it is as old school as you can get. Nothing but dumbbells, free weights, benches, and mirrors. You won't find any nautilus machines or a smoothie bar. Just old school dumbbells, grunts, and weights slamming on the floor. So sit back and enjoy my interview with Lynch's Gym owner, Tom Lynch. And I hope that you learn a little bit about a west side of South Bend legend.
Washington High School.
Yep.
I started there in kindergarten.
At the original Washington High School on Sample in
Sample
kindergarten.
Street. I started there, and I never left that building till I graduated. So I did kindergarten, first and second grade, third and fourth grade, fifth and sixth grade was on the east side of the school.
Okay. Yeah.
And then seventh and eighth grade was about in the middle of the school. And the rest was...
And when was it an overcrowding problem why they had K through 12, or that's just the way it was?
No, that's just the way it was. And
Okay.
I like I said, I started there. I never left that building. I got to know that building like every hiding place in there and everything, but I enjoyed the place, and people never believed, kindergarten, they had a kindergarten there? I said, yeah. I said, when we first came up, that was the first door we came in. That was where kindergarten was.
Hey, Tom, talk to me about the neighborhood. What neighborhood did you grow up in as a kid?
It would be right in the same area.
Okay.
Like Arnold Street
Yeah.
is way down at the other end. We used to live on Arnold Street.
Okay.
And then we moved over, I think, when we started going, I was going to Washington all the time, but my folks bought a house. In fact, the house, I gave it to my daughter now. She lives next door to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you grew up in this neighborhood, where your gym is at now, where Washington High School was right around the corner down
right
Sample.
around the corner, and Pulaski Park is where
Yes.
during the summer
Okay.
Joe Redling ran it
Okay.
from Washington,
Mhm.
and we played. I was on every baseball team when they had the 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, 15.
Okay.
That was every year, when we got older, we got
Right.
on there. But the first time I was so happy because I got a T-shirt and a hat, and it was from Singer Manufacturing Company.
Okay.
That was on Western Avenue.
Yes.
Singer sewing machine.
Yes, absolutely. It was a huge industry here at the time.
Yes. And,
yeah.
so I was proud of that T-shirt. And to be honest with you, I still got that T-shirt at home.
Really? Hey, what came first for you? Was it like the wrestling or bodybuilding, or so? What came first?
That would have been the bodybuilding. Getting,
Okay.
In that.
So the physical fitness came first. Talk to me about that.
The thing was, when I was in school and playing ball, I weighed about 140 some pounds.
Not too big.
No, but
Right.
I wanted to play. I went out for football, went out for baseball, I went out for basketball.
Yep.
And I made the team, but I wasn't first string or
Right,
anything. But
right.
I felt I'm on the team.
Absolutely, you're part of that brotherhood on the team.
And I'm in
Yeah.
into like the sports,
Yep.
so I stayed with that.
Uh-huh.
And then I thought I got to start putting weight on, and
Okay.
there were 2 or 3 of us from the school. We used to go to. I didn't have a big enough basement, but one of the guys, Art, he had a big enough basement, and we
Okay.
had some weights down there, and
I see.
and we'd go work out there.
Yeah.
And the way we worked out, we'd buy a magazine when they had on the newsstand, the
Yeah.
bodybuilding one, Muscle Power and
Yeah.
all that. And we'd, each month, we'd go through that thing, and we were doing no matter what workouts were in it, that's
You
what
do
we
'em.
were doing.
Where else would you get that information
and,
from?
And we didn't have all the equipment
No.
then sometime, and we'd build a bench and this and that. But then when I found, when we seen the place on Washington Street, Johnny's Health Studio,
Okay.
that's why we'd walk up and look at the people and see the trophies. they had
Yeah,
sitting in
okay.
there, and, but we never went in.
Yeah.
Because
A little scared. You're a kid too.
yeah,
You know?
and I thought, well, maybe they don't have a 14-year-old, 15-year-old coming in there. But after a while, Richie took me to Haynes, introduced me, and I asked my folks and I could join.
Yeah.
And my first year, I was doing real good, working out. I put on some weight. I was getting stronger. And John Haynes had sweatshirts with my name on it, and it said Johnny's Health Studio on the back. I was so proud of that sweatshirt.
Yeah.
I wore it to school one day.
Okay.
This is during it was in the fall, just starting. And back then, it was like, you don't do that.
Okay.
And I thought it said Johnny's Health Studio. It wasn't no.
Yeah, it wasn't anything big. Yeah.
Yeah, and I came into the school, and I don't think I was there an hour, and I had to report to the principal's office. And I thought, well, why would I have to go there? So I went, and McNamara was the principal. He says, you can't wear that sweatshirt in the school. I says, I go there to work out, lift weights. And he says, well, we don't lift weights here.
Okay.
And I says, well, that's why I go to the gym.
Yeah.
But he said, you can't wear that here because we don't allow any kind of advertisement.
Right. Okay.
So I couldn't wear a sweatshirt.
Boy, times have changed.
And and I thought that isn't right. So they sent me home, and I changed, and I came back to school. But the thing was working out, lifting weights.
Yup.
And I was still, now I went out for football and basketball and everything. And when the coaches found out that I was still going to Johnny's Health Studio and I'm lifting weights, they told me I can't play sports here.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I thought, why not?
Right.
And I'd go back to John Haynes and I'd say, they kicked me off the team and everything, or because I'm lifting weights. And John says, who?
Right.
I said, the coaches. He said, do you have weights at the school? I said, no. And the way I kind of was a rebel rouser.
Yeah, right.
But it was so funny because John Haynes just said, Tom, don't get expelled from school because of this.
Don't get up. Yes. Don't let this ruin your life over this.
And he says, this will pass.
Yeah. Right.
And so I think the next month or something, I'd go down and I'd see one of I think it was the basketball player. He injured his knee, and he had surgery on it. Now, down in the locker room, they had an iron boot that they put on. And
that's a weight.
Doing leg extensions.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And I saw that. And so I went back up to the football coach and the other coaches and I says, now, is he done playing basketball? And they just looked at me and they said, no, we're getting the knee ready. I said, well, he's lifting weights. And they said, no, he's I don't remember the word they were using.
Rehabbing his surgery or something like that. Yeah.
Rehabbing.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, then I rehab on my whole body, I think. But,
right. That's amazing.
It was, it just
how far we've
shocked
come.
me
Yeah.
that he could still play.
Right.
But me working out, I can't.
That's crazy how far times have come,
So I didn't get to play. That was my junior year.
Okay.
And senior year, I didn't play either. So when I graduated, I was happy. But, I was hurt.
Tom and I talked a bit about life after high school, and then he got into how he met his wife. And thank goodness she accepted his love of working out, because 64 years later, they are still going strong.
That's how I met my wife.
Okay. Through the Marines.
No.
Oh.
Through when Dick Pustai was going with my wife's girlfriend.
Okay.
So he was at the gym the one night.
Okay.
And he was there showing his girlfriend.
Okay.
And he brought in this other girl,
Uh-huh.
which was my wife.
Yeah.
But Marty, and I was working out, and then he introduced me to her. And, and I just wasn't. Working out was my thing.
Right. That was your hobby. That was made you feel good. That was it.
I come up and talking with her
Yeah.
and everything, and they said, well, why don't when you get down, we'll ride together and
Yeah.
you can talk more with her. And I'm thinking, I seen her in this outfit, and it was one of the outfits like I thought she came from Switzerland because she had the like suspender thing and the shorts and the tall socks and that, like they wear if they're going skiing or but in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And when I told her, I said, I like you very much, but I said, you got to know. And Dick Pustai, and we always used to joke. He said, when you guys are working out, don't start with the girlfriend, but make sure she understands that workout comes first.
Yeah, right.
So this is what I was trying to tell her.
These muscles come
workouts
first.
come first.
Yeah.
And, I mean, she just like...
Who is this guy?
Yeah. And I found out she wasn't from Switzerland. She was Hungarian. I said, a gypsy. So, I mean, this is, the thing. And we finally hit it off, but she understood, and she put up with me for up till now, all these years.
How many years is it?
We've been married 60.
Wow, that's beautiful.
63, 64.
That's beautiful.
64 years.
That's awesome.
And
that's awesome.
we got married, and then I went right into the Marine Corp.
Okay.
And we moved down. I took her with me down there, and we lived in Oceanside, and that. And all the years, I put 6 years in that, and it was, we raised one kid. We had one daughter, and that's my Marine brat.
Okay.
Two
Yeah.
daughters.
Yeah.
Lenny and Lancy. And Lenny was the oldest one. That was the Marine brat. Lancy came when we came home.
When you moved back.
This all went on, and then everything worked out. And then we came home, and I was working out at Dave's gym.
Okay. So you still had that fitness in you. You still had that.
Yeah, I didn't give up.
It was you.
In
That's
fact,
your foundation.
In the Marine Corps, I still worked out, and we had a little gym, but it was more or less handball courts and things like that.
Something to get your heart pumping still and get sweating. A brief word from one of our sponsors. I want to thank Dan Barry Insurance for sponsoring this episode. All of Round the Bend Now and Then podcasts, interviews, YouTube videos, and social media posts are all focused on local South Bend, Mishawaka, and Granger content. In addition to creating the content, I'm currently at the point where I'm working to partner with businesses and organizations to sponsor episodes. But not just any old businesses. I'm striving to seek partners who are local businesses or local organizations, because being a part of their growth or their success means that I'm contributing to the overall success of our community. And when I think of a local business that I couldn't be more proud to sponsor an episode, it's Dan Barry Insurance. They've been in business locally in Michiana since the early 1990s, and I've personally been a customer for 23 years with both our home and our automobiles insured. Dan Barry is an independent insurance agency who understands that each customer has their own individual insurance needs. They strive to match their customers up with the best possible insurance companies and plans to meet these individual needs. They understand that my situation is different than my neighbor's situation, that's different than my best friend's situation, that's different than my brother's situation. And Dan Barry Insurance will work with each of us to suit our unique needs. And believe me, because I've referred my neighbors, siblings, parents, and friends to Dan Barry Insurance over the years, as I just can't speak highly enough about my experiences with them. Many of you know how scary the insurance industry can be, And over the years, I can't tell you how many different cars we've insured and how many different times I've sent a frantic email to Danny or Brett, wondering what additional documents I need, what signatures I need, and where do I send this or that. Each time, they promptly respond with the response that calms my nerves. So go to their website, danbarryinsurance.com, and check out all that they have to offer. Whether you need auto, home, life, business, health, or even travel insurance, Danbury Insurance Agency is your spot. They're located at 54101 North Ironwood Road in South Bend. Their phone number is 574-255-6222. And again, I put their website, danbarryinsurance.com, in the show notes. So check that out and give them a call. And now, back to the episode.
When we came home, I said, I got to start working out.
Yeah.
And after Dave's, and I thought, I'm going to try opening a gym myself.
Right.
I was with them so long that half of the people there thought I was part owner.
Yeah.
Because at night, I'd usually get there around 6 o'clock at night, and I'd usually leave at 10.
Oh,
Because
wow. You were hardcore.
I did my weightlifting first, and bodybuilding came at the end. And at that time, Dave was a roofer, so during the summer, he was going to bed at 8 o'clock.
Okay, yeah.
Because
You had to wake up early because it's so hot.
Yeah, and they would be done work by 12 noon, 2 o'clock at the latest. So nobody would be in there at night except me.
Right.
And I knew everything, and I made sure I knew the machines that he had. He had a card hanging, and I learned all. But if somebody had to sit in it, I'd show them how to do it. But after a while, I'd just tell them, I said, I work out here just like you.
Exactly.
And they said, no, you don't, we know.
Yeah.
And I said, no, you don't know.
Like, I'm working out here. I'm a customer.
But they said, you're always helping everybody.
Yeah.
I said, I got so used to doing that. I left Dave's, and I didn't even work out anymore. I went on a manhunt to find a building.
Okay. Yep. You knew you wanted to open a gym.
In this building.
You live in this neighborhood.
And I went in South Bend all over where they were leasing and or selling buildings. And
this is early 80s?
No.
Oh, this is before.
Was, in the late 70s.
Okay.
I started.
Yep.
I opened up in 83.
Okay.
And every place I went, they were willing to rent to me and everything until they found out what I wanted to do. Open a gym. And they said, what kind of gym? I says, well, weightlifting.
Yeah.
And that's where they drop them weights and it goes through the floor.
Oh, they were afraid of that.
Yeah. And a lot of times they would say, we'll rent to you, but you can't bolt nothing down to the floor.
Okay.
You can't put mirrors up.
Yep.
And nothing to the walls.
And that's not a gym.
And that's right. And, so I went through South Bend, Mishawaka. I even went all the way to Elkhart. Then I thought,
yeah, it's too far.
Why? I live in South Bend,
right?
And I'm going to have a gym in Elkhart.
Right.
So that all fell through. So I came back home, and this grocery store was here.
Maternowski's, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah,
okay.
Maternowski's.
Okay.
And
you knew of the grocery store because you grew up here.
I came here. I was in this store.
That's wild.
His wife and him, they knew me from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so when they had the building here, I saw the sign, and so I came down, and they lived next door.
Okay.
And I went in, and I asked John, I says, I would like to look at the building,
right.
And that. And he took me in here, and I said, oh, man, this is nice. And he said, what do you want to do, Tom? I want to open up a gym, weightlifting. He said, oh, okay. And I looked in the back, and he had a cooler in the back. And there's stories behind all this now. I'll get to it, but I could be here all night with you. But he showed me everything and this and that, and I said, I'd really like the building.
Yep. To purchase it or to rent it?
Well, first I seen, you had for lease.
Yeah.
And I says, is there any chance, John, I'd like to buy the building and it'd be mine and I could do what I want with it.
Absolutely.
And he said, well, let me talk it over with the family and his wife. But he made a good deal with me.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'll go to the bank. He says, wait. And there was a bank across the street that he always went to for years and years. And one day I came in and said, okay, what's the deal?
Right.
He says, you're going to pay me.
Okay.
Monthly. And I thought,
rent to own type deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had an amortization sheet made up.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
For all the payments, and you know how
it's like a mortgage. Like it had all the breakdowns of it all, and instead of going through the bank, he was your lender.
Right.
Literally. Yeah.
He wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And I says, I checked with my wife. I said, is there anything wrong? Or she said, no. You grew up here. He knows you.
Yeah. Right.
So for I think it was 15 years.
Oh wow! You were paying your.
I paid. Yeah. And it was only $275 a month.
Speaking of the neighborhood, speaking of neighbors, there were some wild stories around here a few times, right? So I read a newspaper article, 1989. Fast action nets arrest. Off-duty police officer Fred Eister, who was at Lynch's gym, said he and owner Tom Lynch were looking out the window when they saw a man get into the back of a van. A short while later, they saw a woman get into the van, and you realized something was wrong.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
The thing is hanging on the wall.
Oh, is there?
I got it hanging on that
I'll
back
check it
wall.
out before I leave.
That was... She pulled up.
And that was a bank across the street, wasn't it? Jenny's Panadero.
And I was sitting in there, and she parked in that lot.
Yeah.
And I saw her get out, and she walked in.
Right.
But 2 minutes later, I didn't know if there was anybody else in the van with her, but all of a sudden, I seen a kid walk over toward the van, and I thought, well, maybe he's with her.
Right.
And he got in the van. And I thought, well, he got in the van, so I figured that together.
Right.
So I was still sitting there and talking. I was talking with Eister.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, she came out, and I seen her walking, and she went. And as I was looking, I could see somebody in the back of the van stand up, and he
unreal,
hit her. And I thought he had a gun and shot her. And she came running out.
Wow.
She was bleeding. And at the time, I didn't know. I think she was deaf.
I see. Yeah. That's what the article said.
Yeah. When she was screaming, it was...
You could tell it wasn't audible. Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't... And it scared me.
Yeah.
And I told Eister.
Yep.
And Eister, I'm going.
Yeah.
I seen him hop out, and he, after she was running in, then I think he wanted to come this way. He might have had a car parked on the street.
Yeah.
But I came out, and Eister threw me his jacket.
Okay. Yeah.
He said, I'm calling in, and so you're chasing.
Yes.
So that they don't start shooting at you.
Yes.
So I had his jacket with emblem from the
South Bend Police Department. Yeah.
And I chased him through the neighborhood, going through the properties, and I just couldn't. I was 4 or 5 feet away, and he'd get up running, and I'd chase, and then I'd lose him.
Yeah.
But the neighbors,
okay,
they know me.
Of course
So
they do.
seen me going through the yards, and they would point. He went that way. So I
you're out
chased
just
him all
chasing this
the
guy.
way to Ford Street.
Yeah.
He was going all the way away. And I kept chasing. I said, I'm going to catch him.
Right.
I says, and I'll drag him back.
Yeah,
I
dang
says,
right.
And he came back. He was hiding in just before Grace Street. There's a little alley.
Okay.
And he went. I was heading down. I thought maybe he went over the railroad tracks.
Right.
But he didn't. And one of the neighbors said, he's right there.
Right.
And I went up there, and he took off running down the alley, and I start chasing him. And just about that time, I heard a car, and I turned around and looked. There's a car coming behind, right toward me. And I thought, that better be a cop.
Right. Yeah.
Says, or they're coming after, the guy's trying to pick him up. But then, out at the end of the alley, 4 policemen come there.
Nice.
They had their revolvers up. And this guy was running.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
And the car got behind me. And they had the radio in there.
Yeah,
He
of
says,
course.
Tom,
I'm
on your side. I'm a cop. It was a plain car. So.
Oh yeah.
They got the guy.
Yep.
And when I ran up there, they all had their guns pointing. And I looked at the guy, got out of the car, and he says, "Is this the guy that?" I said, "That's him."
Yep.
I said, "If I could have caught him," I says, I guarantee you, I would have drugged him back dead.
Yeah, right. You're so probably glad you didn't catch him, but you helped. You kept him at bay.
And he says, "Go back to the gym, Tom. We'll get you."
Right.
But go back to the gym. I says, "Good," because I said, "Them guys are pointing," and I says, if they start shooting," because I never knew, and all he had was a ball peen hammer.
Okay.
And they found it in the alley here.
Okay.
Right when he turned that alley, he dropped it. And I didn't know if he had a gun then.
That's scary. It's scary though. Hey, talk to me about some of the characters over the years.
The picture up there, the Marine.
Yes.
He's saluting Scotty.
Yeah.
He's saluting there.
Okay.
Scotty worked out, and when he graduated from high school, I said, "Scotty, what are you going to do? You got a job?" "No."
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I don't know yet, Tom."
Right.
I says, "You ever think of the military?" And he just says, not really."
Right.
"Why?" And he was working out here. And finally I said, "Scotty, you're going to get in trouble."
Right.
I says, I kept preaching the Marine Corps to him. I would like a recruiter. And I didn't realize that. Well, all of a sudden I didn't see Scotty.
Okay.
And I thought he quit the gym because I'm, pumping him to join the Marines.
Right.
And I thought, damn it, a good kid like that, and I don't know where he's at.
Right.
Well, I think it was 8 or 10 weeks is boot camp.
Okay.
After boot camp, there was a guy standing out here in his dress blues.
That is so neat.
On a,
I got goosebumps even thinking about that.
Oh, I did. I was sitting in here, and I looked out, and he's standing out there. Didn't come in. Wow. Standing out there in parade rest.
Wow, that's
neat.
And I
walked out.
Yeah.
And it was Scotty.
That's so cool.
Oh, my God. I see you joined.
Yeah.
I see you told me. Nothing else to do. I'm getting teary-eyed because this
kid is
kid,
so neat. And
he was adopted, and I never even knew that.
Yeah.
That he didn't have, his real parents. But
yeah.
Anyway, he came in and sat down, and he said, "Yeah, I'm in the Marine Corps."
That is neat.
This is great. So I knew he had 4 years.
Okay.
4 years went by, and when he'd come home on leave, and he'd come visit, work out, and go back.
Yeah. Yep.
But after the 4th year, he was out here again now in the dress blues again.
Okay.
He always came on a Saturday because he knew that I was open.
He knew
on
you'd be
Saturday.
there, yeah.
And I went out, and he's standing there.
Uh-huh.
And he says, well, are you happy?
Uh-huh.
And I said, yeah. Why? He says, because I stayed in. I
Yep.
got my 4 years in.
Yep.
Did you like it? He said, I think so. He said, yeah. He said, I did.
Yeah.
I said, now, what are you going to do now? He says, you'll never know that I shipped over. I re-enlisted.
Oh, wow. A career out of it.
For another 4 years.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
And it went on every 4 years.
He would re-enlist.
Re-enlist and come out here.
Oh.
And he'd stand in them dress
Yeah,
blues.
uh-huh. Wow.
And getting more and more prouder and
Uh-huh.
everything.
But Tom, why do you think that this place has meant so much to so many people over the years, though?
I think it's the way we all got along with,
Okay.
you know, I'm not a co-ed gym.
Uh-huh.
You know, I have nothing against women working out.
Yeah,
but
you just
they're-
wanted like kind of a place for guys to just come
for
and
guys.
focus on
you know,
the health.
we
yeah.
can. I always tell them. I said, you can. In here, I said, I don't care. You can yell, scream.
Yeah. Drop
I
weights,
said,
grunt.
cuss.
Yeah.
I said, drop weights. I said, you want to fart? You can fart.
Yep.
We don't care.
Right,
I said,
right.
But you know, it's a guy's gym,
Uh-huh.
and that's what we do.
Yeah, right.
And-
So it's just this place means so much to so many people over the years is because of that brotherhood you guys have formed and working in
Yeah.
here. And hey, why has this gym meant so much to you over the years?
Wow. He asked me hard questions.
We're wrapping it up here too. so.
yeah, he's asking me hard questions. Well,
Well, I could just
I just enjoy
Yeah.
the guys and the new guys that come
Yeah.
in, and
Yep,
I've got one right here that came,
that's great. Yep,
Francisco.
yep. He came to get a
came
membership
in,
here with you.
He said he walks by here all the time and never knew what was here. And he came in, he said, it's a gym. He said, I've been looking for a gym.
That's cool.
And so he said, I'm coming back. And he said, I want you to work with me. 'Cause I never lifted a weight in my life. I don't know what to do.
Wow,
I'll get you started. I'll keep you going.
that's neat. That's neat.
And so that's
neat.
why I got this set up already. I said, when he walks in the door, you'll be surprised. But,
Yeah, that's cool.
he's coming in. But it's, I don't really refuse anybody.
Yeah.
And I've never had any problems.
Yeah.
I
It's about those relationships, man. It truly is. Thank you for listening to another episode of Now and Then Round the Bend. An extra special thanks to Tom Lynch for welcoming me into his gym and for sitting down and sharing some stories. Be sure to follow us on all of the socials and also download the episodes on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you listen to us on YouTube, definitely be sure to subscribe. Join us again next time as we learn more about South Bend and Mishawaka's Now and Then.